Okay, so today is the 2nd of February, and we actually just got quite a bit of snow that's fallen over the last 24 hours or so. I'm not in Toronto today. I'm in Whitby, Ontario, visiting my parents, and this is the street where I grew up. But I decided I would just take my bike out with the camera and do a little bit of a tour video of the neighborhood. Because it's kind of an interesting day in that there's not a whole lot of snow on the road because the plow's been around and cleared most of that up. But there's an awful lot of snow that's accumulated in the trees. And, it looks pretty neat seeing these deciduous trees that are just full of, all this fluffy white snow. Of course, the trees in this area are not as full as they were a few months ago because this area was hit really hard by the ice storm. You'll probably notice lots of branches that are still sitting on the sides of the roads. The city's picked up a lot of them, but there's still quite a few left over that got left behind. So I'll go down this street here. So as you can see, the roads are not as well cleared on the side streets, but still easy enough to get through with my bike. There's a big cluster of trees there on the left, or branches that have fallen off trees. That was over a month ago now. That was right before Christmas, December 22nd, 23rd. When the big ice storm hit. But I really enjoy making these sort of videos, especially in the winter, because I know that there's a wide range of people that watch my videos from all over the world, and a lot of them don't get to see snow, or they don't get to see snow in this large a quantity. And I know there's lots of people that live further north than me in much snowier climates that see more snow than this, but this is about as snowy as it gets in Toronto, or the Toronto area. Whitby's a little town, population just over 100,000, and it's about an hour east of Toronto, and it's where I grew up. But this year in our area, we've probably got one of the most extreme winters that we've seen in quite a while. Pretty much, it snowed. There was the ice storm, which kind of hit right before Christmas. The weekend before that, we got a big dumping of snow. Not a big dumping, maybe 2 feet of snow or something like that. And then the ice storm came, and since then it's pretty much, there's been stuff on the ground ever since. The ice formed all over the trees and everything, and then a little bit of it melted. But on Christmas Day there was actually quite a big snowfall that fell. And it warmed up a little bit after that, but the way it's been happening is that when it warms up, it doesn't warm up for very long, and it gets really cold again and then snows some more. So we've pretty much been covered in snow and ice since the beginning of or since the middle of December, I guess. So it's been a pretty cool experience. Some winters we get it where we get snow and then it's warm for 2 weeks and it all melts and you've got all the grass is showing and it doesn't really feel much like winter, and then it comes again and then it's gone, and then it's not a very continuous thing. But not this winter. So I'll mention, of course, I'm riding my bike that has the studded winter tires. And it's doing a great job of keeping me going in a straight line and keeping me upright through all of this snow. in a few weeks' time, I'm hoping to film my video, which discusses my recommendations for winter cycling. There'll be one video which is devoted to the sort of equipment that I use and just some, commentary on my advice on that equipment, what I think works, what I've found that works, what I've found that doesn't work so well, and then I'll also have another video which is more devoted to the clothing that I recommend wearing during the winter, and actually it'll discuss the clothing that I recommend wearing for all season cycling, so including starting at the warmest that it gets in Canada or in Toronto area, which is about a little bit higher than 30 Celsius, all the way down to the coldest temperatures that I've seen in the previous winters. The coldest that I can remember ever riding in was 2 winters ago, maybe 3 winters ago, 2 winters ago I think, and it was negative 28 Celsius. And the coldest I've seen this year was like negative 20, 24, 25, somewhere around that. And we've only seen 2 days where it was like that, so I want to make sure that when I make this video that it's going to be, as informative as possible, and I've got, my facts straight on what I recommend doing. So, for example, that one temperature there, below negative 20, I only have had 2 days of experience riding in that, so there's still a few question marks in my guide as to what I recommend wearing. So I'm hoping that I'll have one more day like that to solidify what I think, so I'll be able to make that video. Lots of people have snow blowers here. There's a few people that shovel, but a lot of people have snow blowers, and often the people with snow blowers will offer to snow blow their neighbors' driveways too. We think it's kind of because they have so few days where they actually get to use their snow blower. They get excited and they want to play with their snow blowing toy as much as possible. But this snow is actually quite heavy. I shoveled the driveway yesterday at the house. It had already been done at some point during the day, so I didn't have the worst of it, but I probably had maybe 20 centimeters worth of snow, and it's quite dense because the snow that's been falling, it hasn't really been very fluffy. It's been kind of wet and kind of slushy. The temperature really hasn't been that cold, so the snow that I was having to shovel was quite heavy. So the street that we're approaching up ahead is what we used to call when we were kids the Mansion Street, and it's a really neat street. It's got it's kind of a valley. There's a very steep hill on the one side and some pretty expensive property and a lot of really nice large homes, the largest in our neighborhood at least. And there's a small little court, maybe 20 or 15 houses on it. But I really think it's neat today having, the snow and all of the trees like it is right now. It really looks really neat. It's the idea of walking in a winter wonderland, like the song says. Most of them have their driveways cleared out. That one at the end, actually these 2 on the right side here, they don't have theirs done yet. And they'd be pretty hard to climb with all that snow all the way up to their houses. Luckily the camera's staying a lot more clear than it was yesterday when I was riding in all that blowing and falling snow. You might hear the noise from my tires. It's kind of a gritty, kind of a grindy sound. That's because of, the metal studs that are on the tires. They kind of slide across the pavement, and I try and avoid riding on days when, all the roads are this clear, because I know that I'm sure it's dulling and wearing down my my studs. So, but on a day like today, when there's parts that are plowed and parts that aren't, it's a pretty good idea to use the studs if you have them. It's kind of a waste not to use them on a day like today. Let's check out this little court down here. Yeah, lots of branches in the ditches there. It's really not too cold today. It's hovering right around 0 Celsius, so right around freezing. Now you can see there's this big pile of snow at the end of the street. That's from this little, pad here of the court. Sometimes what they normally will do is they'll actually plow that into a big, right into the center here. They'll make a big pile right here. And as kids, it was always fun climbing up on top of those, but I guess they've changed their protocol now, and they just push them to the end of the street, and maybe that's easier to do. This house up here, like their whole front lawn is covered with broken tree branches. It really looks neat though with all the snow covering it. And this part of the street here was really hit hard by the ice again. Quite a few trees. That tree there on the left is completely, almost as it's completely gone. And a whole bunch of the branches here were all falling down. And on the day of the ice storm, you couldn't drive down the street because, there were so many trees that were covering it that there was just not a way through. But luckily this is a crescent, so, it loops back around to the main street so people could still get in and out. But yeah, that ice storm really was something. They were saying it's, the hardest or the worst weather event like that our area has ever seen, like ever, since they've started recording weather events like that. So not something I'll probably see again for many years, if I ever do see it again. It'd be a good day to have a toboggan. Unfortunately, my toboggan's in Toronto. Maybe I'll get a chance to go tobogganing at some point during the week. So we're just getting right back to the house now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching this video and getting a little bit of a taste of what, you know, Canadian winter's like in the Toronto area. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.